In this video, we're going to talk about top 10 best horror movies.
Live or die.
If you didn't subscribe our channel yet, please don't subscribe and don't like our video. Our number 10 countdown is The Devil's Candy.
Just the guess?
This is a psychological horror film directed by Sean Byrne, known for blending intense horror with heavy metal aesthetics. The story follows Jesse Hellman, a struggling painter who moves into a new home with his wife and daughter. Soon, Jesse starts experiencing disturbing visions, and his artwork becomes darker, as if something evil is influencing him. At the same time, a mentally unstable man named Ray, who has a sinister connection to the house, begins stalking the family. The film is packed with eerie atmosphere, unsettling imagery, and a constant sense of dread. It mixes supernatural horror with psychological tension, exploring themes of possession, obsession, and the battle between good and evil. The heavy metal soundtrack adds to the film's dark energy, making it feel raw and intense. If you enjoy horror movies with a mix of supernatural elements, psychological terror, and an eerie, slow-burning intensity, The Devil's Candy is a must-watch. It's visually striking, emotionally gripping, and delivers some truly chilling moments. Our number 9 countdown is Mad God. This is a nightmarish, stop-motion horror film directed by Phil Tippett, a legendary visual effects artist known for his work on Star Wars and Jurassic Park. The movie is a passion project that took over 30 years to complete, resulting in a surreal and grotesque cinematic experience unlike anything else. The story follows a mysterious figure called the Assassin, who descends into a dark, decaying world filled with horrifying creatures, twisted landscapes, and disturbing experiments. There's almost no dialogue, just haunting visuals and eerie sound design that create an overwhelming sense of dread. It feels like stepping into a fever dream where everything is grotesque, chaotic, and unsettling. Mad God isn't a traditional horror film with jump scares or a clear narrative. Instead, it's an artistic nightmare, blending themes of war, destruction, and the horrors of human nature into a mesmerizing, unsettling experience. If you're a fan of dark, experimental animation or films that push creative boundaries, Mad God is a must-watch. It's disturbing, fascinating, and unforgettable. Our number 8 countdown is Saw X.
Live or die.
This is the 10th installment in the Saw franchise, directed by Kevin Gruttert. Unlike some of the more chaotic sequels, this film goes back to its roots, focusing on the twisted mind of John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, played by Tobin Bell. Set between the events of Saw 2004 and Saw 2 2005, the story follows Kramer as he seeks an experimental cancer treatment in Mexico, only to realize he's been scammed. This betrayal pushes him to unleash his signature brand of justice through brutal and inventive traps. The film stands out because it dives deeper into Jigsaw's character, making him more than just a mastermind behind deadly games. The traps are as gruesome as ever, but the emotional weight and personal revenge story add depth. Fans of the franchise appreciate that Saw X brings back the suspense and psychological tension that made the original films so gripping. If you love Saw movies, especially the early ones, Saw X delivers a satisfying mix of gore, mind games, and brutal justice. It's one of the strongest sequels in the series and a must-watch for horror fans. Our number 7 countdown is When Evil Lurks.
Terminar rápido.
This is an Argentinian supernatural horror movie directed by Damien Rugna, known for his brutal and unsettling approach to horror. The story follows two brothers in a rural town who discover a rotting man, someone possessed by a demonic force and on the verge of fully transforming into evil. As they try to get rid of him, they unknowingly unleash chaos, spreading the demonic infection and turning their community into a nightmare. Unlike traditional exorcism films, when evil lurks avoids overused horror cliches and creates an atmosphere of raw, unpredictable terror. The film is full of shocking violence, disturbing imagery, and a deep sense of dread. It doesn't hold back, making it one of the most intense horror films of recent years. If you like horror movies that break the usual rules, don't shy away from brutal scares, and leave you feeling unsettled, When Evil Lurks is a must-watch. It's terrifying, unpredictable, and unlike any other possession movie out there. Our number 6 countdown is The Dark and the Wicked.
He's already here.
This is a psychological horror movie directed by Brian Bertino. It tells the chilling story of a brother and sister who return to their family farm to care for their dying father. However, as they stay in the house, they start experiencing terrifying supernatural events, realizing that an evil force is preying on their family. The film is known for its slow-building dread, eerie atmosphere, and unsettling imagery. Instead of relying on jump scares, it creates fear through its dark tone, disturbing visuals, and a sense of hopelessness. The performances, especially by Marin Ireland and Michael Abbott Jr., add to the film's emotional depth, making the horror feel even more personal and suffocating. If you enjoy horror movies that focus on psychological terror and an overwhelming sense of despair, The Dark and the Wicked is a must-watch. It's deeply unsettling and leaves a lasting impact long after the credits roll. Our number 5 countdown is Ghost Mansion.
그곳에서 무슨 일이 벌어진 겁니까?
This is a South Korean horror movie that mixes supernatural terror with an anthology-style storytelling. The film follows a webtoon artist who visits an abandoned apartment complex called Gwangnam Mansion to gather inspiration for his next horror story. As he listens to the caretaker's eerie stories about past residents, he starts to realize that the building holds a terrifying secret. Each story in the movie explores different hauntings, including ghostly apparitions, possessions, and mysterious disappearances. The film does a great job of building tension with creepy visuals, unsettling sound design, and an overall dark atmosphere. The more the webtoon artist investigates, the more he gets trapped in the horror himself. If you enjoy Asian horror with a mix of psychological scares and ghostly encounters, Ghost Mansion is worth watching. It has a solid blend of suspense and traditional ghost story elements, making it an entertaining watch for horror fans. Our number 4 countdown is Voices. This is a supernatural horror movie. The story follows a young man named Lily who starts hearing strange voices after the tragic death of his wife. As he tries to understand what's happening, he realizes that these voices might not be just in his head. They could be something far more sinister. The movie attempts to build suspense with eerie whispers and supernatural occurrences, but it falls short in execution. Many viewers criticize its weak script, slow pacing, and lack of truly scary moments. The acting and special effects also don't do much to elevate the film. Overall, Voices is a horror movie that had potential but didn't quite deliver. If you enjoy psychological horror and don't mind lower-budget films, you might still give it a try. Our number 3 countdown is Incantation. This is a Taiwanese horror movie directed by Kevin Ko. It's a found-footage-style film inspired by real-life events and supernatural folklore. The story follows Lee Ronan, a mother who broke a religious taboo 6 years ago, leading to a terrible curse. Now, she tries to protect her young daughter from the consequences of that curse while uncovering the terrifying truth behind it. The film is packed with eerie rituals, creepy symbols, and psychological horror. It plays with the audience by making them feel like they're part of the curse, as if watching the movie itself is dangerous. It mixes traditional horror with emotional depth, showing how a mother would do anything to save her child. If you enjoy supernatural horror with a disturbing atmosphere and mind-bending storytelling, Incantation is worth watching. Just be prepared for some really unsettling moments. Our number 2 countdown is Evil Dead Rise. This is the latest installment in the Evil Dead horror franchise. Unlike the previous films that mostly took place in a creepy cabin in the woods, this one moves the horror to a rundown apartment building in Los Angeles. It was directed by Lee Cronin and produced by Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and Robert Tappert, the same team behind the original Evil Dead films. The story follows Beth, a woman who visits her sister Ellie, a struggling single mom living in an old apartment with her 3 kids. One day, Ellie's son Danny discovers the Book of the Dead, Necronomicon, hidden in their building's basement, along with some creepy old records. When he plays the recordings, they unleash an ancient evil that possesses Ellie, turning her into a deadite, a terrifying, flesh-eating demon. Our number 1 countdown is The Sadness. This is a Taiwanese horror film directed by Rob Jabaz. It takes a fresh approach to the zombie genre by blending elements of horror with extreme violence and unsettling themes. The story is set in a city where a virus outbreak transforms people into violent, uncontrollable individuals. Unlike traditional zombies, those infected in The Sadness are driven by a mix of rage and disturbing desires, making the situation even more intense. The plot follows Jim and his girlfriend, Kat, as they try to survive and reunite in a world descending into chaos. As the virus spreads, the streets are filled with scenes of violence and danger, with infected people causing havoc in their wake. The couple must navigate this nightmarish scenario, all while dealing with the breakdown of society around them.